Hello everybody, welcome back. Before you watch this video, if you have not watched my live video that I just did about my backstory of my journey, I recommend watching that first before you watch this, because you have to know the backstory before we get into the Kambo story. So I originally was going to do this as a live, but it was glitching too bad. We were having issues. I don't know why. I always have issues going live on YouTube. So here we are. We're doing this as a video. Now, I originally wanted to do it as a live so I could just show you everything on my phone, but now we had to reverse it. So I'm going to show you stuff on my laptop. It's just going to make it easier to edit this way instead of like airdropping every image into the editing and doing everything. It's like, this is just easier if I just show you like this way. So like I said, please go watch the backstory before you watch this so that you can understand my journey with Kambo and Bufo. So in the previous video, in the live, again, it's under the live tab called the backstory of my journey. I explained what Kambo is. I explained how I met Emily, which was doing ayahuasca, and now we're going to get into the actual journey. So I explained that Kambo is a toad poison, and the spirit of the toad goes through your body, and it is not a psychedelic. It is not meant to be a psychedelic, though it may act like some people, while they pass out or something, may have a hallucination or may see something as if it were a psychedelic, but it is not meant to be a psychedelic. It is only about a 20-minute journey. It is a very intense 20 minutes, and we're going to go through how everything is put on and stuff like that through the pictures that I have here. So 12 hours before you do Kambo, you need to fast, and you need to fast because, you know, you want to have as least in your body as possible because you are going to be drinking this whole jug of water. So I had to chug this entire thing of water. As you can see, there I am. Look at me, a skinny queen. I thought I was fat there. That's right, like before I quit my job. So definitely was walking around a lot more than I am now. Anyways, so I had to drink this entire thing of water before we went on the journey. There I am taking pictures. Here is a video. Let's see if it plays. If I can get it, yeah, of the room. So this is the Kambo room. She's got the spirit of the frog everywhere. She has a different place now, but this is essentially the same gist. There's all her tools that she would need. Here's her little, what is this called? Like a little sanctuary. A little shrine to all of the frog spirit. Okay, so there's this. Okay, now I don't want to, this is just from what I recall. It's been 2 years since I've done this, so we're unlocking these memories together. So this is like a piece of wood, and it has this, I think the poison, I think this is the poison on here, and I think she scrapes it off. I'm like remembering all this stuff, so I believe it's on there. I believe that's the toad poison right there. And see, it's 20 minutes. And she's got some sage, Palo Santo. You know, she's got her little tools here because oh my God. I'm like trying to remember everything that we do beforehand. We go over, she has like a meeting with you. Okay, hold on, I have a video here. You guys, I'm so excited. I'm heading to LA to do Kambo with the medicine mama, Miss Emily. I love her. If you guys haven't watched my ayahuasca story, go watch it because she was there every step of the way and really helped me during my processing. And now I'm gonna go do Kambo. And I'm also gonna do Bufo with Susie. I've never done Bufo before. If you don't know what Bufo is, it is 5-MeO. It is a DMT that comes from frogs or toads as well. And you smoke it, and it's like a 20-minute psychedelic. So I'm really looking forward to it because I wonder how different it's gonna be from ayahuasca. I can't wait to tell you guys the story of both of my experiences. I'll probably make a short little recap on here like I did with my ayahuasca video, but you know I'm going to give you the long detailed version on my YouTube. So if you guys want to watch that, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube. It's Alex Serve, and also follow me and both of them on Instagram. They're both based in LA, by the way. A lot of people have been asking that, but Emily has also been kind of traveling around, so keep tabs on her. Okay, so that's before I went to go do it. And this is me while I'm there. Now, she had me dressed in all white, and this is my merch. The World Ended in 2020. If anybody is interested, it is up on my site, alexsters.com. Look at me, a little cutie patootie. So you wear all white. So I'm wearing white shorts and a white shirt because you want to be like as pure as possible before you do this. Now, let's see. This is me with my bucket because you are definitely going to be throwing up. For sure. Oh, and there's my vomit. Sorry, guys. Okay, so this is the burns that I had. So it was straight like if it was like a little cigarette or something. I'm like trying to zoom in like that. And you can see the burns. And then she scrapes the poison like right on there. And obviously it is not comfortable and it swells up and stuff like that. So I had done, so you see there's one. So usually you start with 3 dots, usually 2 to 3. So we did 3. You can see the whole. So this is your right side is your masculine and your left side is your feminine. So here, I'm trying to see, this is a mirror, so I don't really know. Oh, here's my bracelet. So I was wearing it on that side. So this is my masculine side. So I did 1 for my dad, and then I did 2 for my mom, because I just felt like for my mom is like a tougher situation than my dad. So I have 2 for my mom and 1 for my dad. And then the next day I reversed it. Okay. So let's get into kind of like why I was doing it. So I went into ayahuasca wanting to heal the relationship with my parents because I was very angry with them and I wanted to just like understand their thought process. That's what I went into ayahuasca to do. So nothing like I felt different after ayahuasca, but I still didn't feel different towards my parents. I still was like confused and angry, and I still had like minimal contact with them. I went no contact in August after the second time I did ayahuasca. But yeah, this is like what the journey was about. And I just wanted to not be angry. So when I decided to go do Kambo, you know, Emily asked me, why do you want to do this? And I told her, I just want to understand my parents and I don't want to be angry. But I was angry, and I would be like, I remember, I think we were like, there was still, even though I had gone low contact, I think I was still having issues with my mom, like, especially because I had just done ayahuasca. So I'm pretty sure that she was like, harassing me a lot, like texting me a lot. And I was waking up to like text messages of like kind of berating me because of doing it. And, you know, at some point in the journey, she said like, you know, you have a bunch of demons in you. Like, I mean, I told her I said, you need to like fight your demons, like as in like, you know, when people have like their own demons to fight or whatever. But she like legit, it was like, no, you have demons inside you. They were like expelled out of you during ayahuasca or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I'm sure they were. I'm sure I do have demons. I think we all have demons. So anyways, I remember talking to Emily before doing Kambo and just telling her, like, I remember still being really upset with my parents at the time and telling her, and she was like, you understand that every time you get angry like this, like it's your inner child. It's like the smaller version of you taking the front seat, which is very interesting that Inside Out 2 is coming out right now, because that really is like our emotions. It's like little versions of us that just take over the front seat. And so she's like, don't you want to feel more in control? Like, don't you want to feel more in control of your own emotions and understand like deeper than being angry? And it's like, yeah, that's why I'm doing this. And so I understood that Kambo is a healing medicine. I understood that it is a spirit. It goes through your body and it finds your trauma and it helps you expel it. And trauma is stored in the body, and sometimes we can gain weight because of trauma. We're trying to shield ourselves and protect ourselves. And we may have a lot of pain in our body because of the trauma. It can cause sickness. It can cause cancer. So we want to go in and really dig into that trauma and take out as much as we can. And these medicines that are given to us by the creator helps us heal that. And so if the spirit of the Kambo can go through your body and really help you expel that trauma that you have that you don't even know is being stored in a certain part of your body, why not, right? Now, I knew it was going to be hard. I heard about 70% of people that do it pass out. It is only 20 minutes, but it is a very tough 20 minutes because you are sending poison straight into your bloodstream. And the way that she does it is, you sit down and you talk about what your intentions are. You talk about why are you doing this? What are you trying to work on? What are you trying to heal? And for me, it was like my relationship with my parents. And so then you choose like, where do you want to do it? Because you're essentially going to be burned, little holes into, like, usually people do it by their ankle, by their foot, or their arms, so that the poison can be put directly onto the bloodstream. So let me see if I can find the picture here so I can show you guys. Okay, so here it is. So once I'm there, it's like there's a whole process leading up to it as far as like food goes, water goes, intention goes, meeting with her like beforehand to really set the intentions. You sage, you really focus on it. You drink the water and, then you go through. Now, let's see. Do I still have a mark from it? Yeah, there is. So there's 3 dots. Because like I said, the next day we flipped it. Now, normally you do 3 of these sessions in 30 days. Okay. And there's my 3 right there. And I was doing 3 sessions in 3 days. So it's supposed to be 3 sessions in 30 days because it's a lot that your body goes through. And I was going to be doing 3 in 3 days. So I get there and we do the first one. And like I said, it was for both of my parents, one heavier on my mom and then my dad. And while you're doing it, she puts it, I wish I would have done the story right away, but I just was not ready to like tell the story then, I think. And then now I'm just like recalling everything 2 years later. So bear with me. I'm unlocking these memories. So I remember being there and she puts it on you, and the minute within 30 seconds it has hit your bloodstream, and it literally, all the blood just rushes like you're being choked, like to my head, like so much blood in my head. My ears start going like there's no sound in them, like it's just like silent, and I can feel like all the blood rushing through me, and I am just like profusely sweating. Like you just start sweating so much, and I am just breathing through it thinking like mind over matter, like this is nothing, this is a cakewalk. And I am just like really just being strong through it when like you're not supposed to be. You're supposed to surrender, right? You're supposed to surrender. You're supposed to like throw up, shit, piss, whatever it is you gotta do, pass out, whatever comes, you're supposed to just let go. And instead, I'm in my head thinking, you got this, you can do this, you're fine. You don't have to freak out. Why are you stressing out? It's okay. And I am in pain. I am in so much pain because it is very painful. And I am like, because you're poisoning yourself for 20 minutes. And I'm just like, you're good. And I'm just breathing through it. I just find it interesting that those are the thoughts that are going through my head when I was focusing more on my mom, because that is my mom's personality. It's like, be strong through it. Like you're a rock, like show no emotion. There's no reason to freak out. Like, you're fine kind of thing, So it's like, okay, I'm fine. Like, it's not a big deal. I'm fine. And it really ended up hitting me maybe in like the last 10 minutes. I think I finally started surrendering, where I was like, okay, like I was in pain. And I think I threw up. I don't remember if I ended up having to go to the bathroom. Maybe a little bit. I think towards the end I threw up a little bit, and but I was okay. It really hurt, but it wasn't like Like, it was really painful during it. Like, I was like, I don't want to do this again. 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 But like, after it was over, it was like, you recover really quickly. Like, you just, afterwards, she has you like lay down in her bed and you just kind of come back to. It's like very chaotic in the moment, but like, and the 20 minutes feels like an eternity. But once it's over, it's like another 20 minutes of rest, and then you're fine. It's like nothing happened. Like, I took those pictures of my arm and it's like nothing happened. Like, you literally, I look fine. So I ended up throwing up, parts that were, this helps you dispel like things that are in your gut. Okay. And so your gut, I knew I was having issues with my gut because your gut is I was having issues with my gallbladder, and your gallbladder relates to your gut, and your gut is like your gut, like your instinct. Are you listening to your gut? And I didn't really listen to my gut a lot because I was always looking for other people's approval or validation or direction. And even though I always kind of just did what I wanted, I always still cared what people thought. And I cared, like, especially my parents, like, I looked to them for approval for a lot. And I wanted to make sure everything I was doing was right in their eyes. And like, what would they think? Like, I was always very worried about them. And I felt like my life revolved a lot around them and their perception of me instead of me living my life for me. And so that was really hard. And I was keeping a lot in, and I was so misunderstood when I was going through these journeys. They didn't understand why I would do this, and it was really painful to be like putting myself through this physical pain of poisoning myself and putting myself to my limits to heal a relationship with people that like were not even understanding or reciprocating it. So it was really hard to be in that position because it was like, I am doing this to heal our relationship and you're berating me for it because you don't understand it. And so it was really hard. It was hard to be like you love someone so much that you're willing to put yourself through so much pain to understand them better and to be able to coexist with them. And it's like, well, maybe I'm the problem. Let me fix my issue so that, we can really work through it. And instead, through the journey, you realize like you're not the problem. You're not the problem. You're putting in the work to heal yourself, and they're choosing to stay stuck. And so I did that day. And then the next day I did it again. And this time I swapped. I'm going to show you guys, warning. I'm going to show you the little bit that I threw up that came from my gut that was stored there, that I let go of. So it's really not that bad, but that's what it was. I didn't really throw up that much, but that's like part of the lining that was on there. And there's my arm, and then there's me throwing it out. Okay. You're like in the back row, babe. Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah.
Sayonara.
Bye. Bye. Okay, so there's more TikToks. So it seems that I saved my stories from Instagram. So this is great. So this is right after I did Kambo. I posted on my stories about it. So we're going to go ahead and watch those videos. At the time, stories were only 15 seconds long. So we got to go through it by 15 seconds. But I want to show you guys, like, so far I'm remembering everything correctly.
Okay, guys, I just got done doing Kambo. It was really intense. It was really intense, but it did really good. And I'll show you guys my little burns on that. And so I did 3 dots. There's one. Don't mind my huge arms, okay? There's one, and then there's 2. And my farmer's tan from my job. But I did 3 because she said that, well, I did 2 and then 1 because I wanted to do 3, but your left arm is feminine energy and your right arm is masculine, and I wanted to work on my relationship with my parents, and I have more trauma with my mom than I do with my dad, so that's why I did 2 on this one, 1 on this one. Yeah. And I'll make like a YouTube, look at my makeup. I'll make like a YouTube video explaining the whole weekend, like what time I do Bufo as well. But I will say that it was really intense, like a toll on your body. And oh my gosh. And but I like held on till like the very last minute to like let go and purge. So it was really painful though. Like it does take a toll on your body. It's only for 20 minutes, but it feels like it's never gonna end. And thankfully, I survived.
And then I did a tour of her room.
And this is her room where she does it. It's so cute. Very cute. And there is my vomit bucket.
Okay, so far so good. I know you guys can tell I've gained a little weight for sure. Yeah, such is life, okay? I'm pushing 40, y'all. Okay, so also I want to say that that same weekend, Roe versus Wade got overturned. What the fuck? Like, the portal jumpings that we were doing. So, I went ahead and did that, that first day. Then I went ahead and did it again the next day, okay? I went ahead and did it the next day, and this time I focused on my dad. And right away, she was like, think of your dad, think of your dad. And I refused to think of my dad because anytime I did think of my dad, my body wanted to purge. Like, I had to throw up. I had to go to the bathroom. Like, I was on the toilet the entire time this time. Like, I gave in real quick. Like, I knew that it was going to be painful. And I'm like, okay, it's painful. This is painful. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. This is so painful. But I literally would, like, not think of my dad. She'd be like, think of your dad. And I'm like I wouldn't, so that it would be like calmer. But then the minute that I would think about him, she'd be like, think about him. He would pop in my head, and then like the pain would come. I am sweating bullets. I'm in so much pain. I'm like sitting on the toilet. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to do this again. I'm not doing this tomorrow. I'm not doing this tomorrow. Fuck my parents. I'm not doing this tomorrow. That's all I kept thinking, because this one I did at night, and then I was supposed to be up again in, let me see if it says the time. 7 p.m. So 7 p.m. I'm doing this, and it says 7 p.m., but I don't know, because I ended up like having to journal after this. Anyways, and I wrote like it was 1:30 a.m. So I don't know. I remember it was later. Oh, I think it was actually 11. I think the time is wrong on this. I think it's on Eastern time. So it was, oh, GMT. Yeah. So it's not on Pacific Standard Time. That's what it is. So it was 9, apparently. Right? Is that right? Anyway, so let me show you guys. This is me the second day. Look at me. Look at the stages. It's like I start off like, okay, there you can see the poison on my arm. It looks like pus. So the next week the next day we like switched it. And look at me. I'm like, oh, breathing through it. And I'm like, I mean, I am turning red. Like, it is hitting me so hard. But like this is so funny. So funny. There it is. There's the holes on my arm on both sides. Oh, there's my dinner. So look at that. Okay, so that's after I'm done. But that was not easy, and I definitely felt it a lot quicker with my dad. I kind of just gave in. I was just like in pain, but I also like didn't want to think about it so that I wouldn't, but then it didn't. So that night, she was like, you need to journal. You need to journal. You need to write about your experience. I want you to write about it because I don't want you to forget it. And I want you to say everything that you want to say. And I have not read this again till tonight. I wrote a letter to my parents about how I was feeling at that moment. I have not read this again till tonight, right before I decided to film this video, because I was like, I think I want to share this, but I want to read it first just to make sure, I'm okay with sharing it. And it does get personal, and some business will be shared and some tea will be spilled. And I said this on my live the prelogue essentially, the pre-story, the backstory. I'm not doing this to put anybody's business out there. I'm not doing this to be vengeful. I'm not doing this to be spiteful. I'm not doing this to be rebellious. I'm not doing this for any other reason than just to share my story, because I believe that it could help other people. It's a part of my journey. I want to share my story. I want to help other people understand how I got here, because I know it's been quite the journey and you guys have been along with me through it. And I believe that now, here we are 2 years later. It's like kind of like I portal jumped, I quantum jumped. I'm on a different side. I'm on the other side and I understand things so much better now. So I read over this and honestly, I don't think it was as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to be more angry and meaner, but I actually was pretty level-headed. I'm going to read this just to, in case my parents do watch this, so that they can understand where I'm coming from, and that hopefully they can listen to it with an open heart and an open mind and take it in for what it is and see it for like a reflection of themselves, and to see my life through my eyes, and don't take it like as an attack on them. It really is just me sharing my story and getting this off my chest, because I felt like I was always oppressed and suppressed and told to be quiet, and I wasn't allowed to share my feelings or my story with anyone. And this is my journey, and I understand that now. I understand that I went through the things I went through to get here now, to be a voice for others like me, for my collective. I believe that I don't care how crazy people think. I am an earth angel. I'm an alien. I'm the Galactic Federation. I'm reincarnated. I don't care. I think we're all this. I think we're all through this journey together. We're all like aliens from the future who sent ourselves here, and we're like remembering who we are, and we're unlocking memories, and we're breaking generational curses, and we are our ancestors are with us. And I'm doing this not only for me, I'm doing this for the lineage that got me here. I'm doing this for my past self. I'm doing this for the child version of myself. I'm doing this for so many generations before me that were suppressed and were enslaved to society, to other people's thoughts, to the status quo, to status norms, to whatever the case may be. People who were enslaved and couldn't share their stories. And this is something that I know I'm meant to share right here, right now. This is the moment. It is in divine timing. And the other day, there are many signs leading to this, and I know that I'm okay sharing it. I don't do this to hurt anyone, though it will hurt people. I'm only sharing this to share my side of the story, and to give more of a picture to my audience, because my people have been the ones that have been there for me through thick and thin. The people that didn't leave me when things got tough. And while I was going through this journey, you guys were all with me through this, and I felt like I was going through this with you guys, and I feel like it is just it's part of my journey, and I want to share it. I want to share things that you guys were there for, that you don't know that I was dealing with at the time. While everything seemed great because I'm going mega viral, this is the stuff I'm dealing with on my end. I'm not only dealing with social media pressures and social media attacks, and I was going viral, like I explained in the last video, how I got to the viral video. I was getting a lot of love, but I was getting a lot of hate. I had, creator friends that I thought were really my friends, who started jumping on a bandwagon saying that I had spiritual psychosis, that I belonged in a psych ward. There were people against me, creating literal cults against me. A lot of videos talking bad about me, saying that I am a danger to society because of the stories that I was sharing on the internet, or the theories that I was coming up with. I was being very spiritually attacked, and I understood that because I was going through this journey spiritually. So everything that I was experiencing on social media made sense with my personal life, because I chose to go through it. I chose to start a spiritual journey with ayahuasca. And when you start a spiritual journey with ayahuasca, you have to be ready for, it's like that black crystal, that like moldavite, I think, that when you bring it into your life, everything falls apart, because everything that isn't working has to fall apart so that the right can come in. That's essentially what I did when I went and did ayahuasca. I decided to put myself through a portal. I said, I'm going to take this medicine and I'm going to go wherever you take me, and I'm going to do the things I need to do, because my life was not where I wanted it to be. I was not happy. I did not understand things, and I wanted to live life. I wanted to love life. I wanted to experience life. I wanted to understand life. I was done questioning life. I was done hating life because it was a life I didn't choose. It was a life that I was forced to live that I did not ask for. That's how I felt. I didn't ever want kids. I didn't ever want to get married because why? Why would I bring a kid into this world to hate it as much as I did? I did not like the world I grew up in. I felt trapped. I felt enslaved. I felt like I couldn't have my own thoughts. I couldn't be myself. I always felt trapped in my body. I felt trapped in my life. I grew up Seventh-day Adventist. I grew up with strict parents. We're Puerto Rican. Moved from Puerto Rico to Florida when I was 6. You know, I'm living in a rich area, but we're not really rich. And then also like I'm dealing with all these white people, but I'm Puerto Rican, but then I am also Seventh-day Adventist. So I have to observe the Sabbath. So I can't do anything from Friday night sundown to Saturday night sundown. So I'm going to public school, but I'm also religious. But then I'm dealing with Puerto Rican parents at home who are also religious, but my mom is more religious and my dad isn't really. And then you know, I'm the oldest, so I have to be an example for my older sister because she's looking to me to be the example. So I have to do that. And then I'm also dealing with like my own thoughts and my own things. Like I have my own dreams, but I can't follow my dreams because of my religion won't let me be a makeup artist. And I want to be an actress. And I did go to school to be a makeup artist. At first I wanted to be a plastic surgeon, but then that didn't work out because there's no way I'm going to get $100,000 in debt. There's no way that I'm going to be able to, you know, go to school for 10 years and then get a medical degree and then become a plastic surgeon. Like, no. And I'm so glad because look at where we are now. I would not want to be a plastic surgeon now. I wanted to be a plastic surgeon. I was doing pre-med, you know, and then I was like, no, never mind. This isn't going to work. This isn't what I want for my life. So I switched it. And then I'm like, I always wanted to act, but then I was like, I probably can't be an actress, but what can I do? I could be a makeup artist. I wanted to be a plastic surgeon because I liked all the blood and cutting into people. And I was working at a restaurant. I was a hostess. And one of the ladies was like, hey, my son's girlfriend works at Universal Studios being a special effects makeup artist. You should look into it. So I'm in college. I'm getting my AA. I'm pre-med. I decide to go to tour for makeup school for beauty and special effects makeup. I decide to switch to a general AA. I get my general AA. I go to school for makeup. Then in 2008, the economy crashes and everything goes to shit. And so that plan got thrown out the window. I get a hostessing job at a restaurant, which then turns into a serving job. And which originally I wanted to go work in the kitchen. And the manager was like, I think you would be better as a server. You're really good with people. Puts me into serving. And that shifts my whole trajectory into being a server. Like you guys know, I've worked in restaurants for 17 years. So I am a server. I get to know a lot of people. I'm also doing makeup on the side. The first time that I decide to start steering a little bit from my religious upbringing is to finally say that I have full availability for Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios, which I had been applying to Universal Studios for ages, but never got it because I couldn't work on Friday nights or Saturdays. Who's going to hire someone that's only available Thursdays and Sundays when you're just a newbie? And also it was very hard to get in because it was always like the same people over and over. So that's a whole story, which I could tell you guys a different day. Anyways, I end up getting it because I get full availability. I get the job, and that's the first time I start, not the first time, but one of the big disappointments that my mom was not happy about. The first ones are the guys I dated, and those are other stories we can talk about. So, you know, I decide, okay, this is my dreams. I'm going after my dreams because I'm not happy. And that was great. And that's when I start really kind of changing things up a little bit. But I still was going to church on Saturdays. I still was Seventh-day Adventist up until 2020. And then, you know, COVID hits, we can't go to churches. And then this whole spiritual journey starts. And then my whole thing changes. So as I'm serving here, I'm still identifying as Seventh-day Adventist. So I'm not working on the Sabbath, and I retired serving, never working on a Friday night or Saturday. And the Lord always provided for me. I always tithed. I did tithe every single check, every single paycheck, every shift I worked. I always took out 10%, gave it to the church. Whatever the church did with it was their problem. I was always blessed with money because I was always doing things out of the goodness of my heart. And though I don't tithe now, I still I try to just, you know, give back and find who I can donate money to. If anybody has anything going on and stuff like that, I try to give my money to that, to actual people instead of an organization. So, I was still doing that thing. But anyways, in 2020 is when my spiritual journey started, and I just feel like there's too many stories to tell into one. So we're going to stick with the Kambo, even though I'm trying to give you guys a backstory. So during this time, I'm dealing with a lot of personal stuff, and I believe that I left off the live talking about the Akashic records. So I was manifesting someone reading my Akashic records. As you know, guys know, I started going on this kind of like spiritual journey where I'm smoking weed more because I'm doing edibles and stuff ever since I started it more in Florida, but then more in I started in Florida, but then I had an astral projection journey in May of 2020, right after I had, gone viral on TikTok and stuff like that. And then in California I started doing shrooms, and then I have an experience on that, and then I got called to do ayahuasca. So ayahuasca will call you when she wants to see you, and that's what she did with me. And you guys can go to the ayahuasca videos to experience that. So then that's where, the journey continues. And I am like, and that's why I, go and decide to do DMT and Bufo. I want to heal as much as possible. I want to do as much as possible. I want to connect as much as possible. I am like head first in, like, I want to jump through this ascension as quick as possible, because I know that the only way out is through, and I know that pushing through the hard shit is the only way I'm going to get to the other side. So I was pushing myself through all the hard stuff. I didn't care how much it hurt. I didn't care how much I cried. I didn't care how much I threw up. I didn't care how much I had to take a shit. I didn't care how hard it was, because I knew that the quicker I got through it, the quicker I would get here to the other side of being like, it's a fucking cakewalk. But you have to practice makes perfect, and you have to experience pain over and over and over again for you to essentially feel numb to it. But it's not that you feel numb to it. It's that, like, you just learn how to handle it, and you learn how to understand it better. And you know that nothing happens to you, it happens for you. And you understand that the pain you went through was for a purpose. So I'm going to read right now what I wrote to my parents, just so that everyone understands where I'm coming from, because I know it's hard to fathom why somebody would choose to not talk to their parents. And this is before I cut them off. And this was like a shortened version, because I had to be up the next morning, super early in the morning. I was supposed to do a third round, but I told Emily I can't do a third round, because that same day I was going to do DMT, and then I'm going to go into the DMT story. So I'm going to go ahead and read this, and I want you to be aware of the fact that I was very upset at the time, and I understand more now. Oh, I forgot about the Akashic records. I was looking for someone to read my Akashic records, and then JK Ultra came to me, and I had never told anyone. This was just me and my own thoughts manifesting. She's like, hey, I believe I can read the Akashic records. Do you mind if I read yours? I would love to see. We didn't really know each other too well at the time, but we were mutuals. And we had been like kind of talking back and forth. And this is before I made the calendar video. She was like, would you mind if I read your Akashic record? And I'm like, oh my God, I've been manifesting this. Yes, please. So she has me write out 10 questions, and I send them to her, and she gets me the answers within the time that my calendar video goes viral. So she has my 10 questions, and at the same time she's doing the Akashic records and, getting into all that, I'm going viral with the calendar video. So it's like crazy timing. In the Akashic records, which I'll probably do a different video if you guys want me to go through the email, because she emails me. She ended up doing like a voice thing where she like puts herself under hypnosis and she channels, and she voice recorded it and then transcribed it in an email. So I have it saved as an email. If you guys want me to make a video about that, let me know. But in it, my guides say, you're going viral right now, essentially, and it's for a reason. The clock, my timer just said 1444. It's for a reason. It is the time is now. You're going to understand everything. Like, and in 2020, I also had an earth angel come to me at Chili's and say, you don't understand everything now, but you will in your 40s, essentially. At the time I was 33, and now I'm 37, not hitting my 40s, and now I understand everything better, and I'm sure I'll understand it even better then. But it was like a constant message that I kept getting. And in the Akashic records, they said, you've put in the work, but we helped you go viral because the time is now. And I'm going to have to go over that on a different day. But it's wild. It's wild, the stuff that she channeled. And nobody go asking her for an Akashic record reading, please, because she does not do them publicly. this was just something that she wanted to test out to see if it was for real, and like if she could really do it. And her guides did say, like, we know you're doing this to see if this is for real, and yes, it's for real. So that was really cool that she channeled that for herself as well. And that was awesome. So I knew during my journey that I was exactly where I was supposed to be. I knew that I was doing excuse me, exactly what I was supposed to be doing, and that it wasn't going to be easy, that the attacks were a part of it. And I knew that if I'm meant for bigger, I have to get used to this. I have to get used to not being liked by everyone. I have to get used to being attacked. I have to get used to being questioned. I have to get used to being challenged. I have to handle it better. And I had so much anger within me because of my upbringing and not being able to speak out as much as I wanted to and speak my truth. And then on top of that, not being believed a lot, that getting attacked on the internet by so many people, like I was very angry, and it was a lot. Like on your mental health, like being a content creator is not the best thing. So I'm so grateful that I was going through this journey at the same time that I was going viral, because it all went together. I needed to go through this self-healing journey to be able to handle social media, because it was crazy. And I was getting so attacked that so many creators turned their back on me. You know, so many people that I thought we were cool, you know, started talking bad about me, blocked me, didn't want to be associated with me. So that was really hard, because, you know, I didn't get it. I always wanted to build a community of creators. I wanted to be friends with other creators. I grew up on YouTube. I always wanted to be a YouTuber, and I would see YouTubers or Viners all collaborate together and form essentially like teams. And so I really was striving for that as a content creator. I wanted to find like-minded people and people that I could really collaborate with and be cool with. And when I was going viral, I did have bigger creators follow me, and I was like, oh my god, they're following me and we're following each other and now we're mutuals, and it was really cool. But most creators are fake, and they only are following you because like you blew up mostly, and so they're also blowing up, and so, you know, it's like a cool thing. Or I don't know, maybe they did really like my content, but most people just want to be associated with somebody who's like a bigger creator. And whereas me, I was still small, and I was like, no, I just really like this person. I just wanted to follow them. Like, I think they're really cool. And as a content creator, I know that like, you're just a normal person. Like, you're just a normal person who creates content. So I never saw people like, yeah, kind of a hierarchy, because we're used to that. Like, seeing numbers creates a hierarchy, but also being as a content creator, like I know we're just people, you know, and like we're just content creators who like developed a following, but like I never wanted to put myself above my followers. I always wanted to feel like we're one and the same. Like I'm one of the people, and a lot of content creators think they're better, and a lot of content creators scam a lot of people. And so the content creators that I had falling out with, I'm glad, because now looking back, you know, they're not the type of people I want to associate with. We just aren't on the same path, and it wasn't like the people that were on my frequency. They happened to be on it at that time. I learned what I had to learn. We collaborated with what with what we had to collaborate, but everything happened for a reason. And so I'm going to go into that more with the DMT story, but right now I'm going to read the email that or the letter that I wrote to my parents about Kambo. So here we go. And again, I apologize for airing dirty laundry essentially, but it's my story, and I feel like I have a right to share my story. Even if no one watches this, or even if the entire world watches this, I'm allowed to share my story. And I'm sorry if it hurts anybody in the process, and I'm sorry if it makes anybody look bad, but I'm just telling my truth, and I'm not making up any lies. And this is just what happened. This is just what happened. And I'm not doing it to make anybody look bad. It just is what it is. And if there's any time that I feel like I want to interject and say something about what I said, I will. but I'm going to try not to. I'm going to try to read it exactly how I wrote it at the time. Okay. So I wrote, this is on June 23rd through the 24th because it hit like after midnight while I was writing it, of 2022. Mom and Dad. Today I poisoned myself with toad venom to heal the trauma that you both have caused me. I know I chose this, but it's still hard to go through. I'm working on not being angry because if it wasn't for the shit I went through. Look, because I'm talking about this, my solar plexus, I'm starting to get all gassy because I'm like, your solar plexus, and I was working on my solar plexus through this, my gut. I'm following my gut instinct. And so now I have symptoms coming up because I'm doing something that I don't feel super comfortable about, but I know it needs to be done. So a little purging. Okay. So I'm working on not being angry because if it wasn't for the shit I went through, I wouldn't be where I am today. I know you guys think I'm doing crazy shit and that I've gone off the deep end, but I'm doing all this work to heal, not only emotionally, but physically as well. If you didn't know, trauma manifests itself physically in the body if not healed. I am speeding through my awakening process, and I know it's really hard for you guys because you feel like I am a different person and like you don't know who I am anymore. That's because you never really got to know the real me. You molded me into the person you wanted me to be. I wish you would have let me show you the real me. I think I'm pretty cool. Still facts. I know I don't fit into your box, but you always said it yourself. The world would be a crappy place if everyone was like me. My mom would say that all the time. And yes, it would. Kambo was really hard and painful. And I was supposed to do a third session tomorrow, but I don't want to put my body through that again. I've been through a lot of hurt at both of your hands. And again, I know I chose this, but that doesn't make it any easier. What I wish you both would do now is grow and change. Open your eyes to the truth. Surrender to the fact that you are not always right. Honestly, you're almost never right. LOL. I know it's hard to hear that, but it's the truth. I appreciate everything you guys did as parents as far as providing for us financially, but that was your literal job. I know neither of you had great parents that showed you unconditional love or were great examples of what parents should really be. I don't blame you for turning out the way that you did. I understand you both did the best you could with what you were given. I appreciate the effort. Honestly, from the outside looking in, no one would ever think that there was any issue in our family. You both did a great job at keeping it hidden, but there were a lot of emotional issues that were being ignored. I need you both to listen to me. I needed you both to listen to me, and neither of you would. Now, I just want to say before I go on, 2 nights ago, I was in a like half dreaming state, and I heard in my voice, I am not a slave. I heard in my head, I am not a slave. And then I felt 2 hands come around me in bed as if one, like they wanted to silence me, one around my neck and one on my face. And in my sleep state, I was like aware, and I was like, who is this? Because who has access to my home? Like, who could come in here? And I was like, is this my mom? It was like I saw my mom's hands come around me. And then I was like, oh, it can't be my mom. My mom doesn't live here. And I was thinking like, is it Ryan? Like my friend, my ex Ryan, because he lives here. I was like, what? It was like so confusing. But I heard, I'm not a slave. And then I heard hands coming to like, it was like they want to silence me. And again, this has been part of my journey where I feel like I'm always being silenced. Last night, I have a dream that I see my mom and her twin. And I said to them, the world isn't going to end how you think it's going to end, because they believe that there's going to be like a Jesus second coming. And I said, it's not going to end that way. But anyway, now that the world is ending, and it was like, I said, like, the world is ending, but not in the way that I think it's ending. And so I said that in my dream. And then my aunt was like, how dare you disrespect God like that? And I was like, just so you know, you're wrong. The Bible is not fact. The Bible is not end all be all. Do your research. You would understand that, but neither of you want to do your research. And they were just like, like they were shocked that I would say that, because the Bible is the end all be all to them. So this is very interesting that I dreamt these 2 things literally right before I realize it's my Kamboversary, and right before I reread this letter, which is all going to make sense at the end. Like, this is Time is an illusion and everything is connected. And even though this happened 2 years ago, it's still happening now. Like, it's a crazy freaking reality we live in. So just keep that in mind as I keep reading this letter. So I say, Dad, you would ask me questions only to tune out the answer. Why even ask then? You don't actually care. You never cared to get to know me. You've made me feel crappy on my birthdays more than once. You never actually went out and got our gifts because you thought fronting the money was enough. Mom had to do everything. You got me a mug for my birthday recently and you were so excited to give it to me. And I know it's just because it's the first time you actually got me something for my birthday on your own without asking anyone else what to get me or what I wanted. The pure joy in your face when you gave it to me, I will always remember. But it's hard to erase the 30 plus years before that when you never gave me anything at all because you had no idea what Mom had gotten us. It's not about the gift, it's about the action and the meaning behind it. You never cared enough to go out of your way to get to know us enough to know what we liked. Sure, you took us shopping and let us pick stuff out, but that's not the same. And whenever you did bring something home for us, it was usually something kind of lame. LOL. You left us alone with Mom when she would get angry. You knew Mom had a bad temper. Why did you leave us there to deal with her wrath? You guys were the ones fighting with each other. My sister and I didn't do anything, yet we were the ones left to deal with the mess. I appreciate you attempting to stand up for me a couple of times when Mom was going at me, but I resent you for not sticking up to her more. You're supposed to be the man of the house, yet you let her run it. And all you were good for was money, if I'm being honest. Okay, I want to make notes about all this when I'm done reading this, but this is how I felt at the time. And that's only until I turned 18, because after that, you weren't good for that either. You started projects that took you years to finish around the house. You quit your job to follow your dreams, which is great, but then you started relying on us to help you pay bills because we finally had jobs. Do you know how that made you look? Knowing you were constantly borrowing money from my grandma and now your own daughters because you can't get your shit together and learn how to handle your finances? Pathetic. You barely had conversations with us, but when you did, you made sure to make them all about you. The minute we started talking, you checked out. If we tried to have a conversation, you throw a temper tantrum and walk away. You would curse and call us names just because we disagreed with you. You constantly called us malcriada, ungrateful, selfish, odiosa. Odiosa means hateful. Ugh, that was the worst one. When have we ever been hateful? If anything, we've been too loving to two grown adults who don't know how to handle their emotions and take it out on their kids. It took a little bit to get you to that level, but you would flip and be so mean. There is so much more I could say, but this would never end, honestly. I just don't understand how after all of that and more, you think I want to have a relationship with you now, at 35. You think I want to have a relationship with you when you never cared to have one with me? I now understand why I always got the ick when you tried to hug me or touch me at all, because I could sense your fakeness. You weren't genuine. You never were. And now I know you think you were, and I know you tried because family is so important to you. But if that were true, you would have tried harder to get to know the real us, and you didn't. So I'm sorry, but it's a little too late. I appreciate you filling the role of my father because I needed it and it got me to where I am today, but I don't feel a connection to you in any way. And honestly, I am okay with letting you go. I did everything in my power to try to make our relationship work, and it just doesn't. I even helped you at every event, even though you wanted me to take time off work and do it for free, as if I don't have bills to pay. Your relationship with money is such an issue that we don't have time to get into tonight. But I just want you to know that I am grateful that you were my dad, because I could have had worse, and I know you were just fulfilling your part in my play. So thank you for playing the part that helped me land the lead role now. I wish things could be different now. If you were willing to put in the work and leave the victim mentality, self-reflect, have an ego death, and legit put effort forth into getting to know the real me. But our relationship is very surface level, as it always has been, and that's okay. Thank you for getting me here. I wish you the best, and maybe we'll meet in the afterlife, and you can see the truth from my eyes. Maybe then you'll understand the pain I feel from you. I love you, and I wish you luck on your soul's journey. I hope you get to the finish line sooner rather than later. So I feel like I was pretty harsh there to him. And again, I was very angry, and I was awakening to a lot. And so that's how I was seeing it at the time. Although that is all still very true, I think that my parents are just very young souls. And I don't think that my dad meant to come off the way he does, as he does on paper. I think he has a very big heart. I think he's very giving. He's a Pisces on the Aquarius cusp, so very emotional. But he is the youngest of 13. His mom had him when she was 44. His dad died of a heart attack. His dad was not the nicest guy, kind of abusive, especially to my grandma and stuff like that. And my dad is a sweetheart. I think that just being with my mom hardened him a bit, because my mom has anger issues, and I think that they fed off each other in a way, but my dad didn't like to fight from what I saw, and he would just kind of leave. And so my sister and I were just kind of there with my mom in her anger, and it took a lot for my dad to get angry, but when he did, he lost it, and he would be very mean as well. And, we did get hit as kids, not like beat a lot, but like definitely slapped. And my mom would like backhand my mouth, like if I said anything like right. I do remember getting hit on the thigh, like spanked, essentially hit. Yeah, not like across the face, but definitely like the mouth, and then like on my body, but like not like beat up, but like a reprimanded spanking. Like I don't know if, and I'm sure I got hit with like a belt and a sandal at some point. I don't really remember, but this didn't stop when I was a kid. Like I was still a teenager, sometimes even an adult, and I was still getting hit sometimes. So it seems normal in a Hispanic household, but it's not. You shouldn't be hitting your kid like that. And I didn't really get a chance to speak up for myself. I would just get shut down and hit and told to shut up. And I just had to shut up if I tried to defend myself. And if my mom was fighting with me and my dad tried to come defend us or defend me, my mom would be like, nobody was talking to you, as if he didn't create half of me. And so my dad just kind of stopped, and he would tell her, like, you're going to ruin your relationship with her. Like, she's going to grow up and not talk to you. And she's like, didn't care. And so I think that my dad tried, and I was a daddy's girl as a kid. My dad loves us very much, and he definitely did do a lot for us. Like, he did always help out with like car stuff, and he did do things around the house, though that is true. He would start projects and not finish them. He still was a very hard worker, very, very hard worker, very creative. He's a fun guy. I see the good in both of them. And so I was just very angry at the time, because it's like the veil had lifted, and I could see all the negative stuff. And that's what I pointed out here. But in the moment, like growing up, I didn't see it that way. Growing up, it was in my subconscious. It was in my subconscious. I was subconsciously upset and making bad decisions, and I didn't understand why. And so it wasn't until the awakening that I was able to like break it down like this. I was like, oh, this is why. And so this is why I wrote this down, so that like, because it doesn't seem bad growing up, and they're only thinking about the good moments. And usually that's how it is with relationships. It's like you only think about the good moments. But I needed to think about the bad moments, because I needed to understand where my anger was coming from, where my pain was coming from. And so that's why I put all that down the way that I did, because that's what I was feeling. That's what I was focusing on at the time. And to think about the fact that for 35 years I ignored it, and now I'm focusing on it at that moment, it was like I've had 35 years of trauma to deal with, and that I ignored and suppressed. And so it's like, give me my time. If I want to take 35 years to get over it, I will. Because to my parents, they just wanted me to get over it and move on, and don't want to acknowledge anything. They don't want to acknowledge any of that, because, well, we had the good times, so let's only think about the good times. But this matters too, because this shaped who I am today, a part of my journey. And I understand I chose it, but it still happened, and on a human level, we should acknowledge it. On a soul level, like, I understand, like, we get it, we already discussed it, but on a human level, if we want to have a relationship, then we have to discuss it. But I felt like I'm the only one putting in the effort to heal this relationship, and they're not. And so I can't move forward with when we only have one willing participant and the other two want to stay stuck. So though that comes across like, I feel like a bit harsh, it's all true. But there were good times, and I feel like now I see it as a balance, and I still don't talk to my parents, and I don't care to. But I did text my dad on his birthday and on Father's Day. I did not text my mom on Mother's Day or her birthday. I just feel like the relationship with my dad, it got bad because of my mom, to be honest with you. And I'm not putting all of the blame on her, because he is a willing participant. He should have stood up more, and he should have fought harder to have a better relationship with us. It's up to him to talk to us, to build a relationship with us. I'm not saying that, but I feel like my mom took over the two of us, my sister and I, and kind of pushed my dad out of the relationship, but then would be like, you need to do more things with them. And maybe he chose to work a lot and didn't be involved and didn't want to be involved. He thought like, I need to work, I need to provide for my family. So he got caught up in that. But like, I'm sure there's a lot of factors, but I think because my mom was a stay-at-home mom, she took on that role more than my dad, and my dad just took more of like a provider role, and it just happened. It just developed this way. My mom got very possessive, and she owned us essentially over even my dad. So let me go ahead and read what I wrote to my mom. Oh. If you've been following me on Instagram, you know I've been having a lot of back pain. And so it's funny when I read this that I talk about back pain. Okay, so I said, Mom, oh man, where do I even begin with you? Honestly, it's 1:31 a.m. and I don't have time to sit here and break down every single little thing you did to hurt me, because I'll be here writing till morning. All I keep saying is, I wish you would have listened to me. I wish you weren't so obsessed with the Bible and religion. Interesting, because of the dream I had last night about the Bible. Believe it or not, you are religious. Gasp, how dare I say that? Because you are. You are in denial, but you're religious. My mom always said it's not about religion, it's about your relationship with God. But she worships the Bible more than anything. She reads the Bible every single day. She journals about the Bible. She just reads it over and over and over and over and over. And that's just giving cult. It's giving cult. It's giving brainwashing. You can't only limit yourself to one book. And this is considered disrespectful to people who are religious, who worship the Bible essentially. But it's just a fact. The Bible has been tampered with. The Ten Commandments have been tampered with by the Catholic Church. So has the Bible. A lot of books have been taken out of the Bible. And it's just, we as a species have to just keep moving forward, and we can't just keep reading the same book that was like from 3,000 years ago or however much, like I have no idea, when we're in 2024 now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've got to move on with the times. Like, it's just the way it is. Okay. I'm not saying don't believe in God, don't have a relationship with God. I'm not saying the Bible is all wrong. I think the Bible has a lot of truth with it, but I do think that it's been tampered with. If you didn't know, like, the King James version of the Bible, I believe King James also wrote like a book about witchcraft or something like that, like how to kill witches. So it's like, someone who's writing the Bible also wrote a book about how to burn witches. So like, you're not going to tell me that, like, and it's all written by men and the patriarchy, like, you're not going to tell me that these men didn't put on their own feelings, their own thoughts into the Bible to like suppress women and to have their way with the entire world. Like, yeah, I know in the Bible it says anyone who gives and takes away from this will be condemned to hell or whatever, but like, people still did it. Like, men are egotistical and men want to rule the world. And on top of that, like, it all stems from Roman Catholics, which stems from essentially reptilians. Like, it's all just leads back to like a timeline that we should be straying away from, because religion is about control and it's about keeping everybody in one lane and one box forever. And it is about fear. And we have to break away from that. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to value my mom's word over my own intuition and everything that has happened in my life, because things are going great in my life and things are manifesting. It seems like everything's working. And there's truth to the stuff I say. Whereas with the Bible, it was just all fear. And it was, yes, I obviously, like, I had a good life because I believed it. I believed in what I believed in. I've always just, if I believe it, I believe it. I'm not going to just like half-ass anything. And I genuinely believed in my faith. And everything went great for me because I believed in it. But now I believe in this because I have found new evidence leading me towards different results. And so I'm not going to pick tradition or a religion over what I see is the truth of our existence. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pick with like this. I've done my research and this equates to the highest truth. So I'm going to go with that. And I'm sorry if that offends you because you want to stay stuck in your beliefs and your religion. That's fine. But I'm experiencing a different reality here. And so I'm going to keep doing that. And it's not personal towards you, but you're taking it personal because you've made your religion your personality. It's not. I am on my own journey and I'm going to keep going on my own journey because I know what I'm supposed to be doing. If you don't know why you're here and you don't remember who you are and you want to rely on religion and you want to hide behind the Bible and God, that's your own story. That's your own journey. I have to move on. So let me get back to this. So I said, you're in denial, but you're religious. You believe everything the Seventh-day Adventist Church teaches and what the Bible says. I do believe there's truth to it, but it's not the ultimate truth. When 2020 hit, you were telling me about how some pastor that was preaching about some spirituality stuff and how you believed him. Interesting, because to me, that sounds like religious. Had he said the opposite, you would have believed that. You constantly use the Bible as your weapon. You worship the Bible more than your relationship with God. You don't know how to have a genuine relationship with God because you haven't broken the religious social constructs and indoctrination. I know it's hard to understand because you are so lost in it. But the way you are acting is not God-like. God replaced your black heart with a new red one, and you let that one rot too. How do you think God feels that he came down and replaced your heart and you let it go to waste? Now, my mom has this testimony that when she first got married to my dad, they were about 6 months in and they were going to get divorced because they were fighting a lot. Shocker. My parents got married when they were 21, way too young to get married. Don't get married until at least you're after 30. You're still developing your frontal lobe. You're still experiencing a lot. 20s is just your late teens. Please wait until at least after 30. Honestly, even 35 to get married. But it's like, why are you in a hurry? But anyways, my parents met when they were 21. My dad saw my mom crossing a hallway in college and said, I'm going to marry that girl. Look at me burping up again. I'm going to marry that girl to his friend. He hit on my mom. They're dating for 5 months. He proposes. And my mom's like, no, like we just met. But they end up getting married a year and a half later. At 21. Then they have me at 23 and my sister at 25. My mom does graduate college with me pregnant as a secretary because they had degrees for that back in the day. And my dad never got to finish his last semester. He was studying to be a special educational teacher, but he ended up just becoming a sales rep. He was a sales rep for P&G, Procter & Gamble, CoverGirl, and he made great money doing that in Puerto Rico. My mom ended up just being a stay-at-home mom and having odd jobs here and there. But my dad really wanted her to stay at home, be a stay-at-home mom to raise us. And I'm very grateful for that. My mom definitely protected us a lot from a lot, but she became too obsessive and she became religious, became Seventh-day Adventist when I was 2 years old. So she was Catholic. She was raised Catholic. And then she went off and wanted to find the truth because she knew that the Catholic Church was lying about a lot and it wasn't a great religion or church. And so she went on a journey and stumbled upon the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And then that when I was 2 years old, and then we became Seventh-day Adventists. I had my ears pierced when I was a baby. I don't know if you can see. And got them removed when I was 2, and I still have the marks. And that's why I know that is not Amanda Bynes, because I've had this since I was 2 years old. Only had it when I was a baby to 2 years old, and somehow it's still marked. And Amanda Bynes doesn't have her dimple piercings anymore. Anyway, so, so she became very, very protective of us because, you know, she did get SA'd as a child when she was 9 years old. And so she didn't let us get into the industry, and I love her for that. I love that she protected us. I was angry at the time, but my mom protected us from a lot. She didn't really let us go to sleepovers. She was very, very aware, very attentive, very, her eyes were open and peeled. She didn't trust a single motherfucking soul. Like a soul, she didn't trust. And so I appreciate that because it protected us, but it also was overbearing. I didn't get to experience a lot, so I always feel like I'm behind in life. And she used the Bible and God as her weapon for everything. She would always say, don't shoot the messenger, essentially. You know, like, I'm just the messenger. I'm not the one that said it. God said it. God said this in the Bible. It's God, God, God. So then you can never, like, go against her, because then it was like you were going against God. It's very toxic. So also she's a narcissist. So, you know, narcissists like to use God with everything. They have like a God complex. So her testimony is that they were married for 6 months and they wanted to get divorced because they were fighting a lot, and she was praying on her knees. So she wasn't Adventist yet, but she always felt close to God and had a relationship with God, and she would pray. And she was praying to God about, like, God, help me. I don't want to be one of those women who just, like, gets married and gets divorced to a bunch of men. I want to stay married. I want to have a family. Help me. Stop fighting so much. The fighting obviously came from anger because of unhealed trauma when she was a child. So she said that during this moment, she opens her eyes and she sees the image of God or Jesus coming down like a bright light, coming down from the heavens above. He reaches into her chest and he pulls out a black heart. Like, her heart is black and rotted. And then in his other hand, he has a brand new shiny red heart, and he puts it into her chest. Like, he did heart surgery on her. And she was like, ah, like, it was like a movie. Like, she does want to actually have like a movie made of this. She tells the story all the time. It's like, you know, her story she loves to tell people, and it's her testimony. And so she like felt like that. And then my dad was asleep on the bed, wakes up because the light is so bright. He also saw this light. So he wakes up and he like turns around to my mom and he's like, oh my God, why are you so bright? You're glowing. And he confirms the story. He's like, yes, I woke up. She was glowing. She was literally glowing. I couldn't open my eyes. So I believe this story. I believe that this is real. I believe that my mom really did experience this, and she's sober. Okay. Like, my parents don't do anything. This is an experience that she had. So that's why I say this and this, because she has this change of heart, and then they work things out. They end up having us. They stay married. Now, I will say that again, when I was 8 years old, they did also say they wanted to get divorced then too. So it's like, obviously the motherfuckers should just got divorced, but I'm glad that they didn't, because honestly, I would not have been able to live my life with just one of them. I needed the balance of both. They were just two extremes. So this is why I mention it, because I believe that she has this surgery essentially, and then she's very loving, but she also still mean. She's still mean. She's still angry. She's still fighting. She's still a bully. And so I believe that her heart was like black again, essentially. So that's why I mentioned that there. So I said, hold on. Okay. You see, throat chakra, because I'm talking about this stuff. So I said, I wish you would heal your inner child, because you are so angry and defensive with the world. You think the worst about everyone. Sorry. You never give people a chance. All you do is judge others. You make everyone feel like shit because you don't know how to not feel superior to them. You think it's your job to be the voice of God here on earth. It's not. You constantly put yourself on a pedestal that you most definitely do not belong on. You love retelling your same stories, especially the one about getting on a chair and fighting with a guy who badmouthed God. Throat chakra. Okay. So when my mom was younger, she was in school, and some guy was like bad mouthing God in her classroom, and she got on the desk and punched him. And she loves telling this story. She's like, I've always been a God warrior. I wasn't even religious, but I always knew God was real, and I always fought with anybody who tried to say otherwise. So she loves telling the story. And it's like, okay, girly pop, do you? And talking back to a teacher who said God didn't exist. She had a teacher that said that. She fought with the teacher. I said, cool, you stood up for what you believed in. You're not the only person to have ever done that. I get that you have a special connection to God and you feel like you're a chosen child, but we all are. You're not the only one. You guys, this is crazy because I'm talking about this stuff. I have to burp now. Excuse me. Sorry, guys, but I'm just showing you the stuff that happens when you talk about the stuff that you've been holding in. Happen in real time. And honestly, you have a lot to work on and a long way to go before getting to Christ consciousness. If you guys don't know what Christ consciousness is, it's like awareness of self, you know? And like, I believe Jesus was just like in Christ consciousness. Ugh, I hate when the chapstick does that. It like clumps up. I know you don't believe in that. I know you think we could never be like Jesus or God, but hello. I feel like I started the hello. Just kidding. I didn't. It's been around forever, obviously, if I said it, but right now it's like really popular to be like, hello. So I'm like, I know you think we could never be like Jesus or God, but hello. That was literally his purpose, to teach us how to be like him. Jesus was just ascended master from the fourth dimension, sent here to teach us how to be like him, not to worship him. But they crucified him for that. And then they started making us worship him. So anyway, do you think that Jesus was going around judging everyone, making them feel like shit all the time, fighting everyone? You are so angry. You hate yourself so much. All you do is take it out on everyone else. You're constantly looking at others to see what you can judge about them, to take the attention off you because you have so many more issues. The way that you were my biggest bully and best frenemy my whole life, I really want to be cool with you. You wanted to be my best friend, but you were so mean to me. And then you would tell me that you were my mom, not my friend. But then you would want me to tell you everything. And then when I didn't, you went around snooping for it. You never gave me privacy. You constantly crossed the lines of my boundaries because you didn't see the line. It didn't exist in your world. You did things to hurt me. And when I would cry or tell you that it hurt me, you would tell me that I shouldn't care about your opinion so much, or that it was a joke and that I shouldn't take it so seriously. You knew that things hurt me and you kept doing it. You would hit me if I talked back to you. You always thought I was lying and a whore just because I was boy crazy. You were always watching my every move like a hawk, and as if I gave you so much reason not to trust me. You would make me trust you and tell you things, and then you would turn around and use it against me. You were constantly stabbing me in the back. Probably why I have so much back pain. And I do. I still have a lot of back pain. I feel every time I get up, I feel the back pain. Like I've been stabbed in the back so many times by people. I know you just wanted to keep me safe so badly. You didn't want anything bad to happen to me, but you were obsessed. The obsession you had with my sister and I was unhealthy. You smothered and suffocated us. You didn't give me any privacy or space. I remember one time I was praying on my knees by my bed. And I was like, I want to say I was in middle school at this time. I'm pretty sure. I was like in 6th grade. I was praying on my knees by my bed. And afterwards, I turned around right away to look at my yearbook and kiss my crush goodnight. And when I turned back around, you were standing there watching me. You scared the shit out of me. What the fuck? Who does that? I don't remember what you wanted, but I remember that, and I hated that you did that. I remember that like it's yesterday. I remember praying before bed, turning around, looking at the yearbook and be like, oh my God, he's so cute. Give him a little kiss. Turn around, my mom's standing there. I'm like, what the fuck? She scared the shit out of me. She was just standing there like watching me like, it was creepy. It was creepy. And she's like, oh my God, sorry. I didn't realize. I'm like, why wouldn't you say anything when I opened my eyes and I turned around? Like, you just watched me grab my yearbook and like look at the cute boy and give it a little kiss, and then you're just still standing. It's creepy. She used to, I write like everything on my calendar ever since I was in 6th grade. She used to read through my calendar so she could know what I was doing. She used to find my diaries and read through them. She used to go through my stuff. She was always treating me like I was lying to her, and I never lied. I didn't lie until I was like in college because I had to, because she was insane. But like, and I still wasn't even doing anything bad. It was like going out to see a guy or something, and she wouldn't want me to. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was stalking. It was insane. So I never had any privacy. That was like, it was such a surreal moment. Like, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are you just standing there? So creepy. Anyway, I don't even remember what you wanted, but I remember that I hated that you did that. I also remember all the times I would speak up around adults and you would tell me to be quiet because of that Spanish saying, how we look better with our mouth shut. There's like a saying in Spanish that's like, con la boca cerrada te ves más bonita, something like that. And it's like, with your mouth shut, you look prettier. And so she used to say that to me all the time. Like, you look better with your mouth shut. Like, don't talk. And it's like, okay. But she can talk if she wants. Sure. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Mom, telling me that I look better if I shut up. You always told me that I shared too much information with everyone, but never once did you tell me that I shared too much information with you. Funny how that worked. You constantly pried in my life and refused to respect my boundaries. Even after I moved out, you would just show up at my house asking what I'm doing. And she would. I moved out when I was 25 and I was paying all my own bills, not asking anyone for anything. And she would just show up at random hours just to see what I was doing, to snoop in on me. And sometimes I would stay at my boyfriend's house and she would show up at 8 o'clock in the morning, knowing that I never got up anytime before like noon because I worked nights. And so, why are you showing up at 8 o'clock in the morning? She would say, oh, I was just riding my bike. And my apartments were right next to the house. So like, it was literally a bike ride away. And so she would never ride her bike, but randomly, when she knew that I was probably staying at my boyfriend's house, she would ride her bike and then be like, oh my God, I have to go to the bathroom at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I just happened to end up here. Like, she thought I was stupid. Like, I know what you're doing. And then she would be like, Alexandra, where are you? Are you at your boyfriend's house? And it's like, I was like in my 30s, paying my own bills. Like, this is why I had to get away. It was exhausting. Like, she would not let me live. It was too much. It was too much. Sometimes she would call my work if I wasn't answering her phone. It's like, I'm at work. Like, what do you need? Like, it was every day. It was every day. But it's like, I wanted to be cool with my mom, but it was like too much. Obsessed. It was insanity. Okay, where was I? Okay. Even after I moved out, you would just show up at my house asking what I'm doing. You have no respect for me. You ask personal questions that weren't any of your business. Oh, and if you think I've forgotten about the Facebook incident, you're sadly mistaken. You were so embarrassed of me that you blocked the entire family. What is wrong with you? I was dating my ex and she was embarrassed of him because it wasn't a good relationship and I shouldn't have been with him in the first place. He was married when we got together, but they got married when they were 19 and they pretty much had an open relationship. I don't know what to tell you. They did end up, separating. Like, we were together for 6 years. He had his own place, whatever. Technically, yeah, they were married. Shouldn't have been, but I don't know what to tell you. I was young. I was dumb. I was 22. Like, and in my head, I was like 16, like, I had literally just lost my virginity. Like, I literally didn't really know anything about the real world. I'm just getting out there. Like I said, I didn't move out till I was 25. So I was still actually living at home. So it was a wild time, it was a wild time for my journey and I had to go through it. But he was a narcissist and, now I realize why I was with him, because my mom was a narcissist. And so, but anyway, the point is, she was embarrassed of me. And so I had left my Facebook logged in at her house and she went in and blocked my entire family from my Facebook. And I was confused. I was like, I had no idea. I go to Facebook and I see my whole family has me blocked, essentially, I'm thinking. And I'm like, why did the whole family block me? And then later on, she came to me crying and said, I did it because I was embarrassed of you. Burping again. And I didn't want them to see that you were with him. That's insane. I was an adult at the time, living on my own. Pretty sure. So I thought that was insane. I was like, I'm not going to forget about that. That's crazy. Anyway. I said, you always made me feel so small, as if I knew nothing, as if my opinions and decisions were always wrong and dumb. You think you're the only person that's right. Well, guess what? You're not. You're actually wrong about a lot of things. I just wish you would realize it. Anyways, it's about to be 2 a.m. and I need to get to sleep. I just want to say that I am grateful that you're my mom and thank you for playing the role in my play to get me to the main character role I'm playing out right now. 22 minutes on the clock. I appreciate so much the endless conversations we had about religion and conspiracies, because we did. My mom and I talked a lot about religion and conspiracies, and I know she misses talking conspiracy theories with me, but I've clearly gone too far for her. I miss going out to eat together because my mom and I are both Tauruses and we're foodies. We love going out to eat together. I miss all the fun stuff we did together, but that little bit of fun came at a price. And in the end, the price was too high. The price was me. I couldn't keep allowing you to make me feel so little because you needed to make yourself feel bigger. You never let me be my true self because who I truly am scares you. You can't imagine being as free as I am. I know you think you're free and you're putting yourself out there for God, but you're doing what every Christian is doing. Poisoning the world with your negative energy and low vibrations. You live every day in fear, even though you think you don't, because you're excited about the second coming. I worry about what you'll do when you find out there's no second coming in the way you've always thought. I dreamt this last night that I told them the second coming is, or the end of the world is going to happen how you think it's going to happen. And then I told them, and the Bible is not facts. And then now I'm doing this. Like, everything is connected, you guys. I hope you see the truth before graduation day. Now, you guys know that I've talked about graduation day. Graduation day was something that, like, Sam the Illusionist channeled. And it was in, like, the week of, like, September 24th back in 2022. And it was pretty much like a soul graduation day. And I remember I got a lot of hate for that. People are like, oh my God, she said graduation day was going to happen. I don't know what they thought graduation day was, because I just said, like, oh, graduation day, like a spiritual thing, like our souls are going to ascend. Like, you guys keep the vibrations high. You guys want to make sure you pass this test of not giving into fear, because there was, like, some rumor going around that something was going to happen. And I was like, nothing's probably going to happen, you guys. It's like a spiritual thing. Like, just keep the vibes high. People turned that around and said that I said that people, like, I don't know what was going to happen. Well, we're going to, like, all die and go to heaven. I don't know. But people were making up stories about me, and they were like, oh my God, I ended up at a psych ward. People killed themselves over. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck these people are talking about. I choose to believe that these are, like, AI bots. And not real people, because I just don't believe that real people would actually have these thoughts and say these things, because it's so inaccurate. And if you watch my video, none of what these people are saying have anything to do with what I said, except for the graduation day part. They didn't get it. People turned this into something that it wasn't, just to attack me and jump on some kind of bandwagon. It was very strange. But spiritually, yes, we do have graduation days. And interestingly enough, a couple nights ago, I dreamt that I was at a school, and I was like, hey, I was at the guidance counselors, and I said, I have to update my paperwork because I'm graduating. And then she said, graduating what? And I said, I'm graduating high school. But in my head, I was like, I've already been here for 4 years. I can't believe I've already done this. I was repeating high school. And I was like, I've already done this. I can't believe I'm doing this again. I should have been done with this 4 years ago. I just repeated it twice. It was like no one knew that I was there again. And I'm like, this is how I feel, like, with this whole journey. It's like, I should have already been out of here, but here I am still, you know, the ground crew, the last few people of the mission, like, picking up the strays, you know, the people still, here we are, you know what I'm saying? And so that was so interesting. And then in the dream, she was, like, drawing, and she drew like a girl's face, and then there was the number 6, and then she was like, where should the ley line go? And I was like, what? And she's like, where should the ley line go? I wanted to go through the 6 and through her nose. And your nose is your sense of direction. And this is while you guys can hear me, I'm a little nasally. I have been sick. I don't know if it was COVID or what, but I don't normally get sick unless I'm going through an Ascension upgrade. And my nose was so congested. And I know that your nose is your sense of direction, you know, like a hound dog, like, smell it out. And so I know my sense of direction was being you know, altered. And in the dream, she was like north, south, east, or west. And it's so interesting because I just watched a face reading on an alien, which I need to make a video about, on TikTok. And she was like, the aliens have a flat nose. Um, what did she say about the nose? She said something about similar thing. She's like, oh, dang it, I wish I could remember. But anyway, she said something about the nose and how uh, they're just different than us in some way. I'll make a video about it, so you guys are gonna have to watch it. But anyway, she talked about the nose, which I thought was interesting. I can't remember right now what she said, but I know it was something important because I was like, oh my god, the nose, just like my dream. So that showed up in my dream. And also I was like doing my paperwork and it was on like yellow, like Office Max notepad, the one that like rips at the top. And my name was written at the top, like if when I was little, like when I wrote it, like Alex. Oh my god, like right now the image of I had a Lego bucket. I had a white and pink Lego bucket as a kid, and I wrote my name on the outside, Alexandra. That exact writing was on this sheet of paper of when I was little. Alexandra, like a little kid, wrote it. All the other papers had an M on the right left-hand corner, had an M, like the Mari M, like the logo, an M on the left-hand corner, and mine just had my name, like a kid wrote it. And I was like, I need to update my paperwork, I'm graduating. So anyway, I find that interesting because then I talk about graduation day here, like what the fuck. Anyway, as you guys know, it's like a soul graduation to ascend to the next level. So I want to say that God will cut you a break because you've been so faithful to him, but that's not how Earth School works. We have to do the work if we want to pass, not just think that we did it. I know it's going to be a harsh truth for you, but you need it. You've put yourself on a pedestal over others for so long. It's about time you get knocked down. I'm sorry that we aren't at a good place. I feel for you. I do. But this is a lesson that you need to learn. Tough love, baby. I thank you for teaching me so much and for keeping me out of harm's way. I know I chose you for a reason. Unfortunately, though, this is where our contract ends. You did your part, and now it's time to go on my own and fulfill mine. Well, don't worry. One day, this will all make sense. Thank you both for being who you are so that I could be who I am today. I know your souls still have more growing and learning to do. I really do hope that you can grow in this lifetime so we can reunite and have a genuine, real, loving relationship. But if that doesn't happen because you're stubborn and can't bring yourself to admit your wrongdoings, I hope that one day you see things from my point of view. I hope that you see I didn't cut you off because I hated you. I cut you off because I love you and myself so much more than either of you can ever imagine. I am doing all of this for us. What I'm doing isn't selfish, it is selfless. I am doing what is hard and impossible for so many others to do. I am putting our ascension process before our feelings. That's how important my mission is. I really do hope and pray that one day this will all make sense and you will fully and truly understand the sacrifice I have made for all of us. I love you. So that's the story I wrote that's the letter I wrote to my parents, which could have kept going. Now, at the time, I know that I was crying. It took me till now to get here to be able to read this without getting choked up and crying and getting in my feelings about it. I still went on more journeys. I did acid, and I remember like the last time I really cried over my parents was I did acid, I believe in April of 2023. I think that's the last time I really purged for my parents. And then ever since then, I've just been pretty chill about it. It's like, I get it now. Like, I understand we all have our soul mission, our soul journey, and I chose these challenges and the trauma to help my soul evolve. And so when I say I'm putting our ascension process before our feelings, I mean our soul's evolution, like all of our soul's evolution. We came in here with contracts. We chose to do this. And in my Akashic records, I will say, I asked about my parents and they said my parents are imprinted memories. They are not a part of my soul family, but my sister is. And I believe it because that's not the only time I've been told the same thing. Tana also channeled my parents and she did say, your parents this is their first human life. They do come from a reptilian lineage. You and your sister have done this before. You're all here to help each other in your soul evolutions. I do believe my parents will probably have to repeat cycles and keep evolving as souls. We're just on different journeys, we're just on different journeys. So that was the letter that I wrote to my parents, and I'm so happy that I finally shared it publicly. I hope that if my parents watch this, they understand where I'm coming from. They can understand me a little better and don't take it like so personal, even though yes, it's personal, of course. But now it's really like, hey, it's just business. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, this is just the journey. We agreed to this. I hope you can understand. I know you probably won't, but I understand it now, and I'm at such a better place to tell the story now. I'm so glad that I waited till now to tell the story, because I see it in a different point of view. So I go to bed and I have a few hours to sleep before I have to get up and do DMT the next day. Okay, so let's move on to the DMT. So the next day I go doing DMT with Susie. You can see here's all my pictures. So this is Susie. I don't know what she shows up as on Instagram. I believe this is Susie. So this is Emily, the medicine mama. There's me, a skinny queen, and Susie. Susie serves the Bufo 5-MeO DMT, which is also a toad poison, but you smoke it. So here we are at the beginning. And I was very excited to do this. This is Susie. She's the one who serves it. God, I look so skinny. I've gained so much weight. Seriously, you guys. Do I look like I've gained a lot of weight? Please tell me the truth. So here's Susie. She is the one who serves it. She's really good friends with Emily. She's amazing. And this is what she does. She does it mostly in LA. So this is like the shrine, and you could bring anything you wanted to bring for the shrine, and they set it up. Here we are. Yeah, and then you have all these mats, and we did do a breath work. So it was like a group of us. We did do a breath work, and like some meditation, and we kind of went over intentions before we did it. See that, there you go. So that was my mat right here. And it was a mix of people. We went over intentions, we did some meditations, we did some healing sound bowls. You know, they have it all set up for you. Again, you do have to fast before you do it. You know, you have someone playing music. It's all set up like great, you know. And I took this because I had just done a past life regression on YouTube, and I saw that I had a past life in Japan, and then I come here and they have a Japan side. And I just want to say, my sister just left with her friend for a concert, and we were talking about Disney, and her friend's like, you know, you should really go to Disney in Japan. How freaking crazy is that? So this is me after, and we're going to talk about how my journey went. So this is us at the sharing circle after, and here's Jake Eltron. We'll get into that later on, but let me see. Okay, here it is. So here's what it's like. So it's essentially like little crystals, I believe, that they put in there. You're supposed to smoke it up for 20 seconds. So you're supposed to smoke for 20 seconds, and you inhale it, and then it sends you off into like a different dimension, and it lasts like maybe a 20-minute journey, but internally while you're doing it, it feels like an eternity. So here she is talking to me about it, kind of setting the scene. And oh my god, my hair was dirty AF, girl. Anyway, so here I am trying to smoke it. Now here we thought I was a goner, you know, we thought here she is, she's gone on her journey. No, absolutely not. We had a very difficult time. Now at first she asked me, do you want to be one of the first ones to go? And I said yes. So she invited me to do this. I believe because, you know, at the time I was doing videos talking about Hummingbird Church and ayahuasca, and I was talking about Kambo, and she was like, hey, I'd like to invite you to do the 5-MeO DMT. Of course, I'm all about it. Great. Okay, let me go ahead and do it all in one weekend. And usually they tend to combine Bufo and Kambo together in a ceremony. So I'm like, okay, great. So I go into it, the Kambo with my parents, and now here I said for my intentions again with my parents, but I also was feeling imposter syndrome. I was really, really feeling like I am having a huge case of imposter syndrome. Now, remember, this is at the end of June. So I believe at the time, let me see if I can see how many followers I have at the time at the end of June. Let me see if I have any. You guys know I was just going over it on the live. Now I'm going mega viral at this time. So at this point, oh, okay, I'm about to hit 1 million. I have 900,000. Okay. And, and it happened like so quickly. Like it literally happened so fast. That it was a lot. It was a lot to handle. At the time, I obviously didn't know about bots. I thought everybody was a real person. And I was getting attacked a lot. You know, people thought that I was going through a psychosis, and I was getting attacked a lot by other people saying that I was like appropriating things, like white appropriating things. And I'm like, I'm Puerto Rican. They all thought I was white. And it's like, just because my skin is white doesn't make me white. I mean, Puerto Ricans are all shades. So there was just a lot of drama going on, and it was a lot to handle. So I was having a huge case of imposter syndrome because I blew up essentially overnight. Even though it was a goal and I was aiming towards that, it was still like a lot. And so she had asked me, like, do you want to go ahead and be one of the first ones to go? And I said, yeah. So first 3 went, and then I went in the second round. And I had quit smoking. I started smoking weed in 2017, just occasionally here and there if it was around. In 2019, I had my I had my own pen. And then I think I developed COVID at the end of 2019 before we knew what it was, and the pen was like not good for that, and I ended up developing asthma. So now I have to have a pump and stuff because of that. So I stopped because I had asthma. So I was like, I'm not going to smoke anymore. So from 2019, I would say, to 2022, I didn't smoke. I only had edibles. And so when I had to smoke this DMT, it was hot and it numbs like your tongue and stuff like that. And I could not inhale. I did not know how to inhale. I did not know how to like breathe into my lungs. And it sounds like an easy thing to do, but if you're not a smoker, especially like a weed smoker, because cigars, you don't want to inhale, but weed you do. And so if you're not a weed smoker, it was really hard, and I could not get it to go past this point. Like I would inhale for a little bit and just start coughing. I made it to 7 seconds. I'm supposed to inhale for 20 seconds. I would not make it past the 10-second mark. Literally, I would inhale for 7 seconds and start coughing. She had to go through so many little packets for me of DMT, and I felt so bad. I'm trying and I'm trying and I'm trying, and I cannot get it. And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know how to inhale. And she was like, okay, let's come back to you. Let's go ahead and have other people come up, and you can just more prepare, maybe talk to people. So I went around the room asking people, how do I inhale? How do I inhale? And I remember my friend telling me like, oh, usually I just kind of like hold it in and then breathe it in. Everybody was giving me different, different advice. And there was an older woman sitting next to me, which actually, here she is right here. This lady right here. Okay, she was sitting next to me. And she said, did you know that women take shallower breaths than men because they're used to taking up less space? And I was like, excuse me? And she was like, yeah. So you probably breathe very shallow because of that. And she was right. I was taking very shallow breaths. I was not taking deep breaths. And again, like you guys just heard the note that I wrote to my mom the night before. I said, you always made me feel small. Because my mom did always make me feel like I was dumb, like I didn't know how to make the right choices, that like, you always do the wrong thing. This is why I have to tell you what to do, because you don't know how to make the right decision. And it's like, I'm not stupid. I'm not making the right decision for you, but this is the right decision for me. And so the fact that this lady says this, like, she's like, you take smaller breaths because you're a woman. I'm like, yeah, I was not taking deep breaths. And through meditation and through breath work and really healing, I've been able to breathe. Like I remember doing ayahuasca the second time and being like, oh my God, I can take a full breath. I can take a deep breath, So that was something. And so I literally had to sit there and be like, how do you guys inhale? So during all this, I'm feeling like shit, I'm feeling like I can't do this. Everybody is having this experience. Everybody is able to breathe for 20 seconds. They go into their journey. I watch people have their journey. They're all looking like they're having a great time. Like, yeah, some people lose it at first, but then it's always a great journey. When they come out of it, they say it's amazing. It's like such a beautiful journey. So I was excited to experience that. And so I remember just like, I go back up at the end where no one's paying attention because I was worried. Because like then the whole room is just watching you do it too. Because you go to the front of the room to do it. So it's like the whole room is watching you and I can't do it. Like I just felt like shit. So I was like, okay, maybe it'll be better when everyone's done because everybody will have already gone. And so I went back at the end and everybody was like having their own thing. So I was like, okay, the pressure's kind of off me. Everyone's doing their own thing. They're eating, they're talking. So people are kind of in their own world. And I'm like, okay, great. Like I'll go do it. So we go again. And again, I cannot inhale. And she goes, I think you have a throat entity. And I was like, a throat entity? Girl, have you seen my content? Like, I have no problem speaking out. I say whatever I need to say. Now, I will say in the Akashic Records, my guide said that, the work that I had been doing as far as calling out chilies and stuff like that was great. And it was part of my journey, but it was to lead me to where I was going to next because I was going to speak out on bigger things. That's crazy. So I'm like, girl, like, what are you talking about? I have no problem calling people out. And she's like, you have a throat entity. They don't want you to speak out more. And I was like, what? And she was right. As you guys know, if you watch my ayahuasca journey, I was choking under ayahuasca. You guys know they've been trying to silence me. I was wearing my umbilical cord around my neck. I'm always having issues with choking because I don't think that they want me to speak out. Just the other night, they tried to silence me again. So I was like, yeah, I think I didn't at the time think, but yeah, I didn't. I was like, okay, I guess I have a throat entity. I could not get it to hit past this. The minute it hit, I started choking. I was like, do you think I could be allergic? My throat is closing up. She's like, you're not allergic. You're just not inhaling it properly. And at one point she was like, okay, we're wasting a lot of this. We're going through a lot. And so then that put more pressure on me. And I don't think she meant it in a bad way. I think she was like, dude, come on. Like, we got to get this. But like, I could not do it. And I just started crying. I started feeling like a failure. I started feeling like I don't understand why I can't do this. Everyone else is doing it. What's wrong with me? I'm laying on the mat and I'm just crying, and Emily is laying next to me. She was there and she was my sitter, and she was like, what's wrong? And she was like, what's going on? And she just started talking to me, and I was like crying, and I said, I feel like I have imposter syndrome. I feel like people are judging me. I feel like everyone is talking about me. I feel like everyone is watching me. And I didn't just mean in the room. Like, she was like, girl, everybody is here for their own journey. Nobody cares. Everyone has their own shit. We're all here as a safe space. You don't have to think about that. But it was more than that. It was in my life. Like, through social media, I was like, so many eyes were on me, and I had to perform, and I had to, keep going and act like everything was okay, even though it wasn't okay on the inside. And I felt so much pressure on me, and I'm like, I have to do this. I told the people I would do this, and every journey that I would go on, everything I do, I'm always thinking about you guys. I'm always thinking about, well, about work. I'm always thinking how I can create this into content, like how, and I'm still living my life. So it doesn't feel like work to me, but it is work. And I don't separate the two. My life is my content. And I love that about me. I love that on my own Truman Show, but it does get taxing. And I obviously had to learn how to deal with it. And I have to set my own boundaries and my own limits. But at the time, it was just so overwhelming. And I really just felt like I was an imposter. I was like, people are watching me, people are talking shit about me, people are judging me, people don't think that I deserve the following that I have. I just remember caring a lot about people's opinion of me and wanting to not seem crazy and wanting to be understood, and I wanted to be seen. And Emily, and I remember saying stuff about like my family and stuff like that. And Emily was like, you have to stop thinking about everyone else. Fuck everyone else. This is your life. You are an adult woman. You're allowed to do whatever you want. You're allowed to talk about whatever you want. Who cares what people think? You are your own person, and literally fuck, I don't care if it's your family, I don't care if it's your friends, I don't care if it's the internet. Fuck what anyone thinks. This is your journey. Literally all I remember is that she said that, like, fuck what everyone thinks. You have to do what's best for you. You're doing this for you. You're doing this for your younger self. You're doing this to heal you. You deserve to heal. You deserve to feel good. You are amazing. Like, there's no reason that you should have imposter syndrome. You're doing amazing work. You have to remember that. Like, she was so supportive during that. And then Susie came back and was like, hey, I have an idea. What if we just break it up into smaller breaths? Let's do 3 10-second breaths. I'm like, okay. Now, like, everyone else was doing 1 20-second breath. We did 3 10 seconds. So we did 1. Okay. 2. Okay. And 3. Hold it. And then it hits. And it hit, and it is a psychedelic. Everyone, a hallucinogen. Everybody hallucinates. Everybody goes to a different dimension, shoots off somewhere else. I did not. I just vomited. I just vomited and cried and vomited and threw up for, like, I would say only like 5 minutes straight, really, maybe 10. But I remember calling for the bucket, and I was just throwing up, and Emily was rubbing my back, and there was somebody fanning me, and I felt an entity pulling down on my solar plexus. I felt something pulling, like, no, we're not leaving. This insecurity that you have in your solar plexus where you feel like you're not enough, we're not leaving. We're going to stay here. All of the doubts and the questions and the unsureness, we're not leaving. We belong here. That's what I felt. These entities pulling inside me, all of these negative thoughts pulling inside me, like, no, this is our home. We're going to stay. And I said, get out. Get out. I was on my bucket, and I was like literally pulling it out of me. I said, get out, get out, get out. And literally I just started purging. And I told Emily, please don't stop rubbing my back. Keep rubbing my back. She just kept rubbing my back. And I just kept telling it to get out, get out. And I was just throwing up. And the throat entity and the solar plexus entity and all of these entities that were holding on to me, these insecurities and these negative thoughts and all of this stuff that had been other people's words that were living inside my head and inside my body that I was storing and carrying within me, all were purging out of me. And that was that. I did not get the cool experience that most people get. That was me after, because I was crying. Look at my hair, it like really dirty, sweaty, because I sweat through that. And that was me after the ceremony. So that was pretty wild. And after we were done, Susie did invite me back, because she's like, hey, I know you didn't really get the experience that I was hoping that you got, and I know that you wanted. So I do want to invite you back. If you ever want to come back, please do, so that you can get the proper experience out of this. And I was like, okay, thank you. Have I gone back? No, I have not gone back, because I guess I just haven't really been ready. Like, I haven't been ready. It's a journey, and I just haven't been ready to go back to do, I don't plan on doing Bufo again. I mean, Kambo, that was too painful. I'm good. And as far as Bufo goes, I do want to do it again. I just haven't gone back. I'm hoping to go soon. Now, I do want to share this story because, I did mention JK Ultra and all this. So JK Ultra and I, as you guys know, became friends through social media. And there was a point in time where she stayed at my house, and we hung out. And after this journey, I stayed at her house. And I stayed at her apartment, and we hung out in LA, like, for the next day or whatever. This was on a Saturday. I went to her house that night, hung out with her, and then hung out with her on Sunday, and then drove back home. And that was great. But that was pretty much the last weekend that we were friends. And I'm going to just include the story in here. I can probably go into more detail if you guys actually want. And I feel like it's me being messy if I go into detail and like read text messages, but honestly, like I can. because I still have everything, but I'm just going to give like a quick synopsis, essentially, not going through into detail. But we were friends. She was great. I learned a lot from her. She really helped me continue this spiritual journey because of how much she talked about Dolores Cannon and the new earth shift and everything. Now during this time, so as you can see, this is us at her place. Her shirt says Earth Shift Happily Now. See you in the fifth dimension. And mine says Finding My Way Back Home. So we did a video where we were like talking about our merch launching and stuff like that, because we both had our merch. I look so cute. And then this is us at this like breakfast place, and look at the background, like it's all cereal. Look, nope, not today. I look so skinny. And it reminds me of the Kellogg's movie on Netflix, which I find interesting. just feel like everything is full circle. But I just want to bring it up because during this journey, I'm dealing a lot with like the imposter syndrome and feeling like, you know, people don't really value me or respect me or care for me, essentially. And I'm learning who's really there for me and who's not. And during this time, I just don't find it a coincidence that I go and I stay with her during this journey while I'm feeling this way. And I really looked up to her. I really looked up to her as a content creator. I think she's a great teacher. I think her videos were amazing. And I used to talk about her all the time in my videos. And a lot of people would get annoyed and be like, why do you always have to mention her? And I did it out of respect. I did it out of like, I just want people to know where I'm getting my information. I want everyone to know that there is another creator on here with actual playlists that goes into details. I can show you resources, because I was just speaking off the cuff, not having anything to back up my stuff. So it looked like I had no evidence. So I would always say, if you guys are more interested in this stuff, go see JK Ultra's videos. She has a whole playlist on it. I used to tag her in my videos a lot. And I think that started getting on her nerves. Now, I'm not going to make any accusations and say she got upset that I blew up or what, but she did mention my following when she decided to cut off our friendship. So I learned a lot from her. I used to tag her all the time. I used to reference her videos all the time because I learned so much from her. She helped me set up my YouTube monetization. She showed me how she was editing her stuff. So cool. I don't know if she thought that I wanted to be like her, if she thought I was maybe copying her, or what, but I think she just kind of started getting annoyed with me. We had like another girls trip planned literally within like weeks, and then she ended up cutting off the friendship. And during this time, because I was feeling so unsure of myself and like insecure, essentially, even though I was secure, but I also felt insecure at the same time. It was like a thing. This was in June, and at the end of June, and in August again, I did ayahuasca, which again, I focused on my parents there. But after that, I started hypnotherapy, and that's a different story. But I specifically remember when I was with JK Ultra during that trip, she said to me, I learned that other people's opinion about me is not my problem. And I thought that was like, wow, I want to feel that way. I want to not care about other people's opinion of me, because I did. Though I didn't, I did. Like, it's like, I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to be me. But like, I still care, because like, why are you being mean to me just for me being me? You know what I'm saying? It's like when a person is gay and they're like, I don't care. I'm going to be me. I'm going to be gay. But it's also like, but why do you hate me for being gay? Like, that hurts. So that's how I felt. It's like, I'm going to be me. I'm going to be loud. I'm going to be crazy. I'm going to be obnoxious. But like, why do you hate me for being me? I can't, I don't know, like I can change, but I don't want to, because I'm happier being myself. But like, it makes you be happier if I'm not myself, and that hurts. And so, I remember like really just feeling like we were friends, and that I really looked up to her, and everything was great. And then during this time, you know, I kept going viral. I hit 1 million on July 16th or 17th, I want to say, which, by the way, is also the anniversary of when I started at Chili's in 2016. So how crazy is that? I hit 1 million. And that was great. But again, I was getting really attacked. And because I was getting so attacked online, I obviously I could be a little mean back to people on my videos, and a little harsh, and a little attitude, and a little know-it-all. And I didn't mean to come off that way, but when you're fighting with the entire internet And that was part of my journey. I had to learn how to handle things better and how to literally it doesn't matter, Alex. Like, you actually don't have to reply to these people. But I didn't understand that at the time. And I started losing like friends in the creator field, like I said. And I remember I had posted a video about people choosing their death, and somebody was like, what about people who overdose? And I was talking about, and I was like, well, according to Dolores Cannon, everyone chooses their death and everyone has exit points and everyone can choose when they want to leave, and they check in with their higher self and their higher self checks in with their guides, and then they say yes or no, and you can choose to exit or not. And sometimes your guides will allow you to exit because you've had too many chances and all you're doing now is hurting everybody else in the process. It's not fair to everybody else's journey when they've tried to help you. So if you overdose, you chose to exit then, and then you go, you talk to your guides, you go over your life, and then you decide what to do from there. So I did say, like, people choose that because I believe everyone chooses their death. I think before we come here, we choose when we're going to die. And I was just quoting Dolores Cannon from her hypnotherapy sessions, which I learned about Dolores Cannon through JK Ultra. And so I made a video about that. And I think she used that as an excuse to end her friendship with me. She reached out to me, she sent me the text messages, and she was just like, I come from a place of love. But she pretty much just went in and said, like, listen, you have a lot of responsibility as a big content creator. You have 1 million on TikTok now, which, like, when people mention your following, they're paying attention to your following. And it's like, okay, and like, it just happened overnight. Like, that doesn't change who I am. And she's like, essentially, now I didn't say this. This is just me saying this. This is in her text message. Like I said, I'm already telling the story here, so I'm probably not going to go in and read the text messages to tell you guys. But the overlying everything was just, you have a big audience and you need to be careful with what you say. I have had friends that have overdosed, and I can't believe that you would say that. Oh, before this, I just want to say, I went through this journey, and she's one of the people that I'm really looking up to, and I'm aspiring to be like, because I just viewed her as an amazing content creator. Even though she had less than me at the time, still, like, I looked up to her because I don't care. She's still an amazing creator, and very educational and knowledgeable. And I valued her word. And when I was doing hypnotherapy, my hypnotherapist said, if you could be like anyone, who would it be? Who do you look up to? And I wanted to be like, I don't look up to anyone, like, I just myself, but she came to my head. And I said, well, it's not that I want to be like, I don't want to be her, because I don't really know. I don't ever want to be like anyone. I just admired her work and wanted to be professional in that way, and be able to edit the way she did, and like, not be her. Like, I didn't want to be her, but I admired her work and inspired me to do more and to be better. And I wanted to be better, and I wanted to do a better job of explaining things so that people didn't misunderstand me. I wanted to show evidence of stuff. Like, I valued how she presented herself, and I wanted to learn that about her, because I knew I could use that because I'm unhinged. And so I said, it's not that I want to be her, but I remember she said this quote where she said, other people's opinions about me is not my problem. And I want to feel that. I want to feel how she feels when she says other people's opinions about me are not my problem. I want to feel that. And he's like, okay, great. So let's work on that. That was the day before she ended the friendship with us. So that was in August. I believe, like, I think, right? It was, I believe, in August, July. It was around this time, literally within this time. I do my first therapy session and I say that. And the next day she texts me, hey, this comes from a place of love, but I just want to tell you that, you have a big audience, and I can't believe that you would say that people choose to overdose. I have had friends that have overdosed, and I can't believe that you would say that. That's completely insensitive. You need to be careful. And I was like confused, because I was like, wait, I learned this from you. Like, I learned this from Dolores Cannon. So I'm confused, because, like, I'm just repeating what Dolores Cannon said, and you're the one who introduced me to Dolores Cannon. So that's why I say I think she used that as an excuse to end the friendship. I think she just didn't want to be associated with me, because everybody was on the I hate Alex Serves Tea train. And she had a goal of being more professional, which is, I don't like see her stuff, but people will don't know our history, so they'll try to send me stuff and I'm like, I can't see it, and then they'll have to screenshot or screen record and I'm like, oh, it's JK Ultra, she blocked me. So after she sends me this text message where she comes from a place of love, she says, I say, oh my God, I am so sorry. I was embarrassed. I felt horrible. She didn't like the fact that I was tagging her and everything. She's like, I don't want you tagging me and stuff. She pretty much just like, you know, she just cut it off. She just cut it off, did it. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that I was upsetting you. I would never mean to do that. I genuinely viewed her as a friend. I thought we were cool. I had no idea she had any problem with this. She never brought it up. So I had no clue. So this is the first I'm hearing of it. And I feel so bad because again, I want to learn how to be more tactful and I don't want to upset another creator or my friend. So I apologized. I said, I am so sorry. I cannot believe that I made you feel that way. I did not mean to. I'm so sorry. I understand. I do have a big following. I'm really working. That's and I just want to say the video that I posted, I had filmed in May and it is now like August. I had just saved it in my drafts because I wasn't sure because I knew it was a controversial video and I didn't know if I wanted to post it. So I had it in my draft sitting for months. And at this time, because I was doing so many journeys and I was busy, I didn't have time to film. I posted that draft. So I told her, if it makes you feel any better, I did film that in May and I have been going through a journey. I've done ayahuasca, DMT, Bufo, all this journeys in this time to grow. And I understand where you're coming from. I was at a different place then. I'm at a different place now. I hope you can see that I'm putting in growth. I hope you can see that I am trying to be more tactful, that I'm really sorry. I'm trying to be more careful because I understand that I have a lot of responsibility. And I was really apologetic because I felt so bad. I had no idea. I was completely blindsided. And she was like, wow, I did not expect you to say that. I didn't expect you to take it so well. I appreciate it. And I'm like, yeah, of course. And then I was blocked. So I don't think it came from a place of love. I think it came from a place of, I don't fuck with you anymore, but I'm going to disguise it as a place of love and reprimand you. But then I'm going to block you because I don't actually like you and I don't actually want you in my life because you're going to embarrass me. So again, I felt like I'm back at this place where this is part of the journey. So the fact that all this happened, and this is why I'm speaking on it, because it has to do with my journey. I went into Kambo Bufo to feel less judged, to feel more free, to feel like people aren't telling me to be quiet, to be able to speak freely. And now it's like one of my fellow creator friends who I admire so much cuts me off because of who I am, because they were going to be embarrassed to be associated with me because it would make them look bad. And good for her because I believe now she's doing like a lot of conferences with like alien stuff and like that's what she wanted. When I was there that weekend, she was like, I want to work with Gaia. Okay, girly pop. And now I believe she is. She's working with people that work with Gaia. Good for her. That's her journey. I'm glad she's doing exactly what she wanted and she's in LA. She's with the right people that fit her life. I was not a person who fit her life and she's not a person who fits mine, because if we were true friends, she would have brought it up. I apologized and she would have been cool with it and we would have let it slide and we would have kept going. She didn't say I have to end the friendship with you now because you don't respect my boundaries. Like she didn't give me a chance to ever make up for it or anything. She just blocked me, blocked my phone, blocked me on all social medias, and it was like I never existed. And that really hurt me. And that was a part of my journey. And so during this time, I was just going through so much. And then on top of that, after that, then I get my TikTok banned. So I got so many things taken away from me during this time. And it was all a part of it. It all started when I started my ayahuasca journey. It was like, you're going through this portal. Let's fucking go. People are going to come and go. They're going to cycle out. They're going to play their role. They're going to do what they're supposed to do. And then they're going to leave your life. And I have accepted that. My hypnotherapist, who I also met doing ayahuasca, is no longer in my life. And that's a story for a different day. And I can tell so many stories of people that come in, do their job, and then they leave. And I don't like to discard people, but I have gotten better at weeding people out and knowing their true intentions. But I had to get her a lot in the process to get here and to be able to discern better and to really listen to my gut. So I wanted to mention that because the JK Ultra story is something that like really hurt me. And I was angry. And it wasn't until like recently that I feel like I can speak on it without having resentment and without having anger, because I understand she did her job. She came in to get me on this trajectory, to help me in what she needed to help me. We had contracts before we came here to do this, and then we parted ways, and it's okay. And it's okay. But I wanted to share this out loud, just like I wanted to share about my parents, because these two things were big parts of my journey at this time. That was something that I haven't really shared publicly. Some people have heard the story here and there, but I haven't really shared them publicly, and I wanted to get them off my chest. I wanted to say my truth, and I wanted to say my side. So here it is. That's the truth. That's the truth about my parents. That's the truth what happened with JK Ultra and I. And I wish everybody the best. I thank everybody for the role that they played in my life. Everybody did their job, and we're on to the next thing. Excuse me. A little purge there. You guys have seen me go through it during this story time. So, excuse me. Y'all, see? I'm letting go of that. So I just find it interesting that her merch said Earth Shift happily now. But it wasn't very happily to me, because she dumped me as a friend, and I thought it was really mean. So I guess we weren't really friends. That sucks. That sucks, but she did what's best for her, and here we are now. We're in a different timeline, and we're in a different journey, and I am so grateful, because I only want real people around me. And I was sad because I learned a lot from her videos, and I really wanted to keep learning. But I'm happy because I had to go through it alone. I had to go through the journey alone. I had to learn my shit on my own. I had to hear my downloads on my own. And I started, after she had blocked me, I had noticed, like, literally, like, we were talking about the same thing. So I started talking about stuff, and then she was talking about stuff. So we were on the same timeline, and I'm like, why would she block me? We're literally talking about the same stuff. Like, we could collaborate. We could talk about this stuff together, but she didn't want to be associated with me. So it is what it is. I understand. I had to go through that. That was part of my journey for me to learn it on my own, because I had to learn how to, like, not lean on others. And same with my parents. You know, I had to learn how to be an adult on my own, and, not lean on others, you know, and have my own thinking, my own thoughts, go on my own journey without, you know, other people telling me what to do and what to believe in. So that's the story, you guys. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you guys are interested in doing any Kambo or Bufo, hit me up, or hit up, you know, at the Medicine Mama and Susie. Actually, you know what? Let me go ahead and look them up on Instagram so that you guys can see what their ads are at. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm like, I have to sign in. So you guys can follow them. You guys, did you guys see the new Justin Timberlake headshot? Yeah, definitely AI or a reptilian, but okay. Okay, so here is the Medicine Mama. The Medicine Mama, that's Emily. She's the one that does Kambo. So you guys can look her up and hit her up. And then Susie. Here she is. This is Susie. So that's her, 17K. So this is Susie. So that's Susie, and for her Bufo, if you guys are interested. She's a queen. So there you go, you guys. That is my story. If anybody is interested, again, in where I did ayahuasca, it is Hummingbird Church in Southern California. They do travel. So that's Hummingbird Church. You can go on their page and find more info. And the shaman that serves it is this Pedro Davila. He is the shaman that serves, oh, there's me, that serves ayahuasca. So if you guys are interested in that, that's that. All right, guys. So there's the story 2 years later. Wow. Wow. We did it. We did it. We're here. We're here and we're queer. And that's another story. I think you guys have probably watched that one. I did do a TikTok live about my coming out when I realized that I am not completely straight because I had a girl crush. And that story is on a TikTok live, and which was posted on June 1st for Pride. If you guys are interested in hearing that story, head on over to my TikTok live on June 1st. It is up here. It is, and it's called, I don't know what it's called, to be honest with you. Let me see if I can find it here. Where are my videos at? It's called When I Realized I Wasn't Straight at 36. It was posted on June 1st. On June 1st. So if you guys want to watch that, it's up on here. So thanks for watching, you guys. What a journey. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you guys think about this. Please leave a comment below. Let me know if you want any. I need you guys to tell me what you want stories on. I really want to do more YouTube videos. Tell me what you want to hear about. Tell me what you want me to talk about. What do you want story times on? What do you guys want to see as content? I really want to focus on YouTube. My goal is to hit 100K on YouTube. So please subscribe. Please share, like, comment, do everything, because I really want to hit the goal of 100K on YouTube. And right now I'm only at 11K, and that's good because my goal used to be 10K before I really started posting consistently. So hey, we've already beat that one. My next one is 100K. I want to get that silver plaque. So please let me know what you guys want to hear about, and I will do my best to do more YouTube content. Thank you so much for being here, and can't wait to hear from you guys, hear your thoughts. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.